Perfect. Okay, so first off, thank you so much, Melissa, for listening to all of my messages and answering all of our questions. I've kind of been the middleman between the group and talking to you and everything. And I know that a lot of people in here are also in the test group, so we've all been kind of going back and forth with, are we going to follow the test group nutrition? Are we going to do this? So there might be some questions about that. But if you would like, you can, if you want to say anything, you can, but we do have some questions that I charted out that people were asking in the group.
Well, number one, you guys are a good looking group. And it's fun for me to talk about something I'm so freaking passionate about and not feeling like I have to be censored at all. So I'm really looking forward to this. And there isn't any question that you can ask me, and I'll answer the best I can. Just know that I went to Arizona State, took all of my nutrition courses. I never got the certificate because I never did my residency because I had my second child and I decided just to stay at home. But every single thing that I learned at Arizona State is the complete opposite of what I believe today. So it was kind of useless anyway. And this whole thing started, I mean, I've been, as you guys know, Erin, should I smile? I've been intermittently fasting for about 20 years. And I think that really has kept my physique pretty lean, but it wasn't until I really started diving into eating more fat in my diet and really cutting out any carbohydrates that turned into fat very quickly. I mean, I do believe there are some carbohydrates that your body doesn't even recognize as carbohydrates, but those ones that do convert to sugar very quickly and then get stored as fat very quickly. Once I learned to cut those out of my diet, it's just been life-changing, because if you look at me at 43 compared to 23, I look like I'm 23 as a 43-year-old. In my 20s, I wasn't overweight, but I was kind of soft. And then in my 30s, it was a little bit better, but in my 40s, really incorporating a healthy fat diet has made life easy. I don't exercise near as often as people think I do, and I cheat. Poor Josh Spencer, he's been here the last several days, and he's like, you've eaten some crap. And I'm like, I do, but I'm good 85% of the time. And it's just honestly for me, and it's why I love sharing it. It makes life enjoyable. I love a good, grass-fed steak, and some green vegetables every single day. I love a salad every single day. I love to mix up the way I make my eggs. I love coffee. And I've been doing it for years, and I'm still not sick of it. So I just think it's just a lifestyle that people can really adopt and live with and travel with. That's, Mick and I travel all the time. And there's not a place that I can't get eggs for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and a portion of meat and vegetables for dinner. There's just no excuse that you can't stick to this. So that's it.
No. Thank you. Yeah. So, and most of us here, all of us are 5-star and above coaches. And that's been, I think, really helpful because we've all been here a while. We've been doing 21-day fix for years. And, I was someone who did 21-day fix forever after 80-pound weight gain with baby, and then did 21-day fix extreme, then ultimate reset. And it was just like nothing was really, and even worse, just feeling worse. And I know that the majority of people in here, we all know one size doesn't fit all, but most of us are like, for the first time, we're not thinking about food all day long. And a lot of us struggle with food addiction, PCOS. So some people might have questions about that. And by the way, guys, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat box. I have some that I'll ask right now, and then we'll get to those. And I'm so thankful for Josh Spencer getting on his leadership retreat, because that's when I ran into Melissa, and she was there on the retreat. And he asked, like, what our biggest takeaway from the trip was. And I was like, the nutrition part, like talking to Melissa about nutrition. And we all know that when we're on track and we feel good and getting results, that translates into our entire business. So I got the most Success Club points ever when I transitioned to low carb, high fat. And I know I can speak for a lot of us who are chosen for the test group. We were like, oh, like, I think they did that on purpose, chose a lot of us. But yeah, so first question, and this is a big one that a lot of us were we're worried about or are worried about. How do you translate this down to your coaches, downline, and customers without causing confusion or conflicting stuff with Beachbody?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And one of the things that I always stress with my customers when I put them in challenge groups, or even my coaches when I get on the phone with them, is I'm not trying to make you me. What I'm trying to do is give you support in the journey that you want to choose. And so when I do my challenge groups and we decide which fitness program to do for them, I always tout Beachbody's meal plans and say they work wonderful for some people. And you're more than welcome to stick with this, and I will support you through that as well and answer all the questions that you have. Or I'm also going to put in here a meal plan that I personally follow. So it's completely up to you. If you have any questions on either one, reach out to me. And the same thing with coaches. A lot of my coaches have become coaches with me because of my challenge groups. And so a lot of them do eat like me, but they all don't. And I tell them that they're more than welcome to use all the information that I've created, the challenge group guides that I've created for my style of eating, but they can still be very successful by choosing the Beachbody way. And that's 100% their choice. And I'll love and support them either way. And I'm very adamant about that. I don't want them to think that they have to be like me to be on my team, because that's just unfair to them.
Yeah, I got a little bit of pushback, and I don't know if anybody else has kind of dealt with this, but I have a 5-star coach, personally sponsored coach, and a lot of her coaches follow me, and she's very 21-day fix, gets amazing results with eating 15 bananas a day, and that's just her lifestyle and what she does well with. And so when I was posting about this and having a lot of interaction about it, a lot of her coaches were interested, and they, of course, going a little bit away from 21-day fix or feeling like I was going away from 21-day fix. So she had sent me a big long message that I posted in our group, and she basically said, like, I just feel like it's not a good idea to do something that is not Beachbody, because then we're teaching people to go to what Shailene has to offer right now and all of that stuff. But I tried to explain, not everything works for everyone, and we always, just like you said, promote 21-day fix across the board as they're starting as a baseline, and then they can build off of that once they learn to listen to their body a little bit. But it kind of turned me off a little bit and made me rethink how I was posting, because I was like, I didn't want to make my coach upset too. But she's also very closed-minded and addicted to the containers. Like, built her business around the containers.
Yeah, and mark my words, Beachbody will adopt something like this. The research and the studies is just overwhelming on how, if it's done correctly, how beneficial it is. And it's really going to help reverse our trend of obesity and diabesity that we have. And I know that's Carl's mission. And I think I wouldn't be surprised right now if they've got something in the works or they're talking about it, because you just can't ignore. You can't ignore the research. It's too profound. And so just because you're ahead of the game, doesn't mean that what you're doing is different than Beachbody. You just might be a little bit more cutting edge than Beachbody, because they have to be more careful. For $1 billion business, they have a lot to lose. And so it's easier for us just to say, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm just telling you what's worked for me, and I'm sharing what's worked for me because people are asking me what's working for me. But I really think Beachbody will come out with something that is along the same lines.
We hope. And then the next question, do you ever worry about the keto peeps? And I made the mistake, don't anybody in here do this, of mentioning or using the word keto in my posts, because that's not a lot of our long-term goal. It's just low carb, high fat, and made diet. And I made the mistake of saying keto too many times. And so I attracted people who are like, how are you eating Shakeology? And I'm like, oh gosh.
Right. I actually, I enjoy coining my phrase as I'm not keto, because I think that really gives you a bigger market. I think people that I think keto is great as an induction period to really get your body set in a pathway of burning fat instead of sugar. I think it's kind of like going cold turkey, but it's a great feeling. And I encourage people to do it for maybe a week, but I don't think it's a lifestyle that you can stick to. And so I'm always telling people I'm not keto. And I think that makes people who are a little bit afraid of fat feel better. And those people that are doing keto, but feeling like, I don't know if I can do this for the next 30 years, realizing that there's options. You don't have to be 75 to 85% fat to be incredibly healthy and have the health benefits of being in ketosis and being so high fat. And so, yeah, I'm real careful with that word too, because I think that keto is very, very restricted, just like Atkins is with protein. I mean, Atkins was all protein and sugar, alcohol. That's it. And so you just got to, I think that's one of the reasons why for me, what I've created helps a more mass majority of people, because there's a little bit more freedom than keto allows.
Awesome. And then the next question, I want to know especially how she introduces the MAID diet in her challenge groups. Does she talk about the containers? I know we kind of talked about that, and you sent me the breakdown for to make the container people happy.
I tried that too with the containers, and it just caused more confusion than it was worth for me. So I quit using the containers in my group. But how I use my system in my challenge group, you guys are coaches. I can talk to you as coaches. What I've created is, and I really encourage you to do the same, is I created a 2-week free intermittent fasting group where I made 12 videos on intermittent fasting. Like the first video is just an introduction and how I got started into it. I talk about cancer prevention. I talk about inflammation. I talk about our hormones. I talk about so much stuff. I mean, each hormone, ghrelin, leptin, insulin, human growth hormone. So there's 12 videos in there. They're about 3 minutes a piece, but it's 2 weeks of information on how intermittent fasting is good for you above and beyond weight loss. That's just an amazing side effect of intermittent fasting, but how it can actually help you be a healthier person. And at the end of that 2-week free group, because intermittent fasting is such a trend right now, people would love a free group to learn more about it. And I teach them above and beyond what they expect it to be. They're really kind of blown away at how good it is for you. They don't know how good it is for them. And at the end of that 2-week, I offer them to join me in my 30-day challenge group, where we're now going to introduce a higher fat diet. And we're going to start implementing the intermittent fasting. So a lot of the people, not everybody, because some people don't want to spend $160, transition from my 2-week free group into my 30-day intermittent fasting and higher fat lifestyle challenge group, where, I just spend 30 days, again, educating them a little bit more on the diet. And I ask them the first week to eat a specific diet, just the first week, because I don't know if they're insulin resistant or insulin sensitive. And by putting them on this diet, which is how I pretty much eat, which is 50% fat, 35% protein, and 15% carbohydrates, by seeing how they look in their pictures after a week, and if they've lost any weight, is a great indication on whether or not they're insulin sensitive or insulin resistant. If they lose a lot of weight and their belly shrink, I mean, I saw some of your guys' pictures. The same thing happened to you, where the belly shrinks because of all of that inflammation in your body, goes down so fast within a matter of days, then you're insulin resistant. Your body is just honestly taking a deep sigh, a big breath without all of the carbohydrates in the body, and going, okay, this is how I'm supposed to function. And so when I see that, then I notice that they are insulin resistant, and I try to keep them on that diet, but we just start tweaking it a little bit, depending on, what they do for a living. If they have an unsupportive husband who orders pizza every night, I mean, stuff happens. Then it gets individual with each challenger.
Awesome. Thank you. And for those who maybe missed Chris's call yesterday in the test group, if you're in the test group, he kind of goes against the grain, which is awesome because he's very vocal in the group. He said that he does do intermittent fasting and kind of promoted that a little bit. And there were a ton of people. So at least this is, I feel like this shift shop is kind of a shift, no pun intended, in the right direction. Right. We're getting there. And I think the percentages after I put them together for the shift shops, for those who aren't in the group, I think the percentages are around 40% fat. And then you've got 30-30. That's about what it is. So, I mean, it's not too bad, but that's by week 3. Now, he said something about week 4, Hell Week, being a little different. So I'd be interested to see what that meal plan is. But I'm assuming they're going to add more fats in as we go. So that's exciting news.
Yeah.
It's definitely, and it's so funny because those of us who are doing this are like, man, where's all the fat at? But then we have to remember that the people who are so container addicted, like my 5-star coach who's also in this test group, she was like, where are the grains? You know, and I'm like, who cares about the grains? I want, you know, so it's funny to see the differences of mindset with that. Yeah. And then next question. My biggest question right now is for my husband who's wanting to start this lifestyle but doesn't need to lose any weight. He is in great shape. What would she recommend to someone who is at their goal and only wants to get more definition and maybe even put on a few pounds?
Oh, you know, that's my husband. I keep wanting to go live, not to get off track, but we went to, I don't know if you guys have them where you're at, a place called DexaFit. And they did our body fat. It's 99% accurate, our body fat. And then they also did our BMR. And him and I, you know, knock on wood, are incredibly healthy for a 43 and a 45-year-old. But the funny thing is we work out completely different. I'm cardio queen, and I can't get the man to get his heart rate up if his life depended on it. He lifts heavy weights. But we eat the same diet. So it's just proof that if your diet is on board, whatever your goals are going to be, that diet is going to help you reach them. Hi, Shay. How are you? Pretty lady. Sorry, sidetracked. It's so nice to see your guys' faces outside of he has been following, you know, for me, this meal plan for 3 years. And over the last 2 years, you probably don't follow my husband, but he's put on a good 20 pounds of muscle. And we eat the exact same. His portions are just bigger, but we both have a vegetable omelet of some sort for breakfast. He just has more eggs. He makes himself a Shakeology protein, creatine, crappy. There's so much crap in that shake. It bogs down my blender with his eggs. I just have Shakeology. And then we both have big salads for lunch and meat and vegetables for dinner. And I just make sure to put a little bit more fat on his vegetables and to give him a bigger portion of meat. But we eat the same foods. He just has a higher quantity of it.
All right. And next question was with the intermittent fasting, if somebody is working out in the morning, and I asked you this in message, kind of a 2-part question. You know, the performance line, recover, and marketing says that we need to have a post-workout shake so long after the workout. What do you recommend? And then also, do you believe that bulletproof coffee breaks a fast?
Okay, great questions. I probably get these on the daily. I just answered the bulletproof coffee one probably 15 minutes ago. I really trust and believe in Beachbody, and I believe their research. So with their performance line, I wholeheartedly believe them. And so when I say this, I'm really not talking about Beachbody because I don't believe they're after sales, they're after results. But there are a lot of companies that will put in these magazines that people are buying that make them believe that they have to have post something, you know, that they have to eat the McDonald's wants you to believe you need that Egg McMuffin first thing in the morning, and that you have to have these snack bars, you know, every couple of hours to keep your metabolism up, and that you have to have something post-workout. And I have to, again, to speak for myself, being an intermittent faster for 20 years and teaching my classes on an empty stomach, and it was a good 1.5 to 2 hours, bare minimum, before I would eat. And I've done that for 20 years, and I don't lack for muscle. In fact, I have to pull back because I gain muscle too easy. And Terry Crews, if you guys saw his video on intermittent fasting, he's like one of the buffest men on the planet. And he works out at 8 a.m. and his first meal is at 2 p.m. So I think it's individual for each person. But if it works well for you, if you get up really early in the morning and you have to do your workout at 6 o'clock in the morning and you can't eat until 10 a.m., and self-experiment and see how your body reacts. If you feel, take your bicep measurement. And if you feel like your biceps are getting a little puny after a few weeks of not eating right afterwards, then supplement afterwards and adjust your 8-hour window. But my bet is that you'll be able to have, that 3.5 hours without eating and you'll be okay. You'll still gain muscle. I think what blows my mind is people think they have to eat right after they work out because your body's going to use your muscle for fuel. I'm sorry, but your body's a little bit smarter than that. Why on earth would it store body fat for you to use for energy when the time comes that you don't have anything in your body? Why would it go for your muscle? It stored the fat to use it. Why would it choose muscle over fat? I just think that's ridiculous. And as long as you're fasting, your body is going to use stored fat before it uses muscle. I mean, if you're incredibly lean and you're doing a 2-day fast, you might go for some muscle stores because your body's out of body fat. And the only body fat that's left is the really important body fat that's around your insides to insulate you. But other than that, if you've got some around your hips or your middle you want to get rid of, your body is going to go for that first. Now, as far as Bulletproof Coffee, love Dave Asprey. Totally disagree with him because if you put calories in your body's going to use the calories in your tummy before it uses the calories on your body. It's just simply put. I think Bulletproof Coffee is an amazing high-fat, healthy fat meal. And every time I drink it, I swear I feel like a light switch goes on in my brain. I can just feel the energy in my brain wake up, but I only do it in my 8-hour window because if I'm putting calories in my body is going to use those calories. So I truly believe it breaks your fast. So I am all for Bulletproof Coffee, but I think it needs to be drank within your 8-hour window.
Perfect. Okay, next question. Oh, somebody asked in the chat box, would you suggest intermittent fasting with the fixed containers for the people who don't want to do the low carb, high fat?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think I gave that to Brooke too. I don't know if she shared it, but I created the container system in an intermittent fasting window. And I obviously am a big proponent of just 3 meals a day with no snacking. And so I've put all those containers in 3 meals. And because there's more carbohydrates, I don't use grains either. So I took the grains out. It was mostly just sweet potatoes for the carbohydrates. But because there's more carbs, there's more quantity. And so it's a lot of food in 3 meals. And most people couldn't finish all of that food in 3 meals because with that, you're substituting actual, rice for fat. So it's less food, but it's more satisfying. But yeah, you're more than welcome to share that, Brooke, if you want, but I think that's a great idea. The container system works really well with intermittent fasting.
And guys, that's in our file section, but I shared it a couple days ago. And somebody asked in the chat box, if you're at your goal weight, is it fine to pay attention more to percentages rather than grams? I'm afraid if I don't hit the right grams, my body won't be fat adapted. But I also feel like I'm on a strict diet sometimes trying to stick to the grams, and I really don't feel like I need to be. But I want to make sure I'm still using fat for fuel.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. I don't know how long you've been doing this, but I don't count anything anymore. I've just quit doing it. And I am a creature of habit. And I know for some people that doesn't work, but I legitimately eat pretty much the same things every single day. I think, like I said before, when it comes to eggs, salads, and meat and vegetables, you can vary that every day for a month and not have the same vegetable and the same meat. And your salad can be completely different. Your dressing can be different. What you put in the salad can be different. And then same with eggs. There's like a dozen ways to make eggs. a different way. So I don't count calories, and I don't count my macros anymore, because I know if I have 2 eggs with lots of vegetables, if I have a salad with avocado and olive oil based dressing, and then about 6 ounces of meat and just a buttload of vegetables, I'm about in the range of where I'm in nutritional ketosis, which is a lot lower than ketosis, but nutritional ketosis is still enough for your body to want to burn fat, because you just don't have a lot of carbohydrates in your system. So to answer that, if you're not trying to lose weight, then just start playing with your hopefully 3 meals a day. And you'll hear me say it a million times, you've got to self-experiment. It's hard for me knowing if you're 5'11" or 5'1", and how active you are, and how you're sensitive you are to the hormones in your body that help regulate fat loss. I'm not sure of that. So I don't know how to tell you if macros or calories would be better for you, but just start playing with it and give yourself, I want to say probably about 5 days of doing something to know, to see how you feel and how your body looks. And if the scale is important to you, a change in the scale to know if this is working for you. And if not, you just got to just keep adjusting, and you will find that sweet spot. And it's smooth sailing. Big time.
Yeah. And then somebody had also asked, and I kind of knew the answer to this, but cheat meals or refeeds, I know you don't plan them, but you just kind of do them when they happen.
Right.
But is there any method to that is better than another, like having the refeed? I know that there's some science saying the refeeds at night actually are better than morning, or any of that info.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there that I don't believe carb loading or high carb days, a cheat meal. Man, I have such respect for fitness competitors. And if you're a fitness competitor, please don't hate me. But I'm just so unhappy with the posts of people having, the huge plates of pancakes and stuff after their competition. I don't get that. That's just so bad for you. And you're trying to be an example of health, discipline and health. You don't need that. There's no reason for your body to have these extra carbohydrates to readjust how your body goes. If you're eating clean and you're eating healthy, your body is going to run so well, and your body's going to want to be the weight that it's supposed to be, and it will naturally happen. I mean, your body doesn't want to hold on to extra body fat. Your body doesn't want to be tired. Your body doesn't want to not sleep well. If you just get your diet in order and you eat from the farm and not the factory, and put a little bit more fat in your diet and get rid of all processed carbs, everything else just falls into place naturally. And there's no reason to tweak it or change it, or I guess I can cuss with you guys. I was going to say shit happens. You can have a piece of birthday cake. Your spouse brings you home chocolate for Valentine's Day. It's Christmas, and it's, you love pumpkin pie. Oh my God, have it. But don't think you have to have a cheat meal or a refeed every single week. It's ludicrous.
Thank you. And guys, by the way, if you guys want to unmute, I think is that all of our questions? I think we asked most of them. I did have one question for you. I know that you guys do the Ultimate Reset quite a few times a year. Do you do that because with low carb, high fat, you ingest a lot of animal protein, or is there a reason that we should be doing that more often?
Last night I watched a documentary. Jimmy Hayes Nelson sent it to me because he wanted to get my goat. It's called What the Health. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's brand new, and it was so hard for me to watch. It is created by vegans. So, and you may have people come to you and they talk about how bad eating meat is. But you'll notice every single time that they mentioned meat, they call it processed meat, and they keep talking about lunch meat and bacon and hot dogs. Duh, that crap is bad for you. And they never once mention a good grass-fed, grass-finished ribeye, which is incredibly healthy for you. And so that documentary just tore me up inside, because they were talking about how sugar's not bad for you. Shay, you got to watch it. So it was very frustrating to me. I'm very picky and choosy about my meat. And I think people, even though I think people think I eat more than I do. I have 2 eggs for breakfast and I have a portion of meat for dinner, and that's it. My salad never has a protein source in it. So I really don't eat that much protein. It's not the reason I do the reset. Usually I do the reset in support of somebody else, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to do it again in like 2 weeks with my daughter, who is a vegan. Kill me now. But we're going to do it raw, 3 weeks of raw. But I'm going to incorporate a lot of fat, a lot of nuts, raw nuts and avocados and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting for me. But I only do it because of outside pollutants. And when I go out to eat, I know that I'm not probably eating the best quality of food because the restaurants don't care near as much as I do. And so it's for those reasons that I will do a reset, but it's not because of the fact that I do eat meat. Or I eat a lot of fat. It's sources that I can't control is why I choose to do the reset.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions? Somebody said, so maybe I shouldn't be eating bacon every day.
I think if you're, if you go to like Butcher Box and you get a really good quality bacon from healthy pigs, it's fine. But most of the bacon out there is not very good. So just be real picky and choosy and make sure that the pigs, are in open air and they're eating a healthy diet. And then it's okay. And of course it's nitrate free, but that's really hard to find. And so you're better off going for the not having it at all than having the cheap stuff. And Dave Asprey's new book, I wish I had it in front of me. I don't know if you guys have read it. It's really good, but he even talks about how he would recommend a grass-fed steak over wild-caught fish any day because, our oceans are so polluted. It's so sad. But it's true. Our water sources are horrible. And so you have a better chance of having a cow that's raised in a healthy environment than you do having a piece of fish that is in clean water. And I have to agree with that. People are so afraid of saturated fat and red meat, but it's for your B12 and your iron and all that, it's the best source of nutrition that you can get. And don't overdo it. People will get a 12 or 16 ounce steak. No, 6 ounces.
Let's see. Somebody asked, can extra carbs from veggies take you out of nutritional ketosis?
It depends on the vegetable. I think if you're eating anything, I don't think you can get too much green. So whatever you should have seen my plate of Brussels sprouts yesterday. It's embarrassing. But I think if it's a very dense green vegetable, you're fine. I don't think you can eat too much of it. I just don't think your body will do anything with it except use it to repair the body. And so that's okay. But when it comes to, a sweet potato or carrots or non-GMO corn, that's a little bit different story.
Shay asks, back to the ultimate reset. Do you do that in an 18-16 intermittent fasting schedule?
I do. And it works really well for me. That's one of the reasons why I love the reset. I love regimen. And so with the supplements and stuff, it really helps me stay within my 8-hour window. And whenever I did the reset with Carl when it was brand new. I was in his little first time group. I think it was the top 10 coaches they let do it with him. And I followed every single recipe to the T. Perfectly. But ever since then, I've done the reset on the crunch. And when I do the reset, I actually do have a lot of fruit. For 3 weeks, I suck it up and I eat a lot of fruit because it's easy for me. So I have fruit for breakfast, the microgreen salad for lunch, and stir-fried vegetables for dinner. So I'm vegan all 3 weeks. It's short term, and I do it within an 8-hour window. And then I slowly transition back into adding eggs for breakfast instead of fruit and adding my meat for dinner.
Leslie asks, can we talk about the importance of Shakeology to those of us following a lower carb, higher fat diet?
Hi, Leslie. Yes, my biggest thing is that your body does create glucose in itself. And there's been people that say that your body creates enough all by itself, that you don't need to ingest carbohydrates in order to get that to feed your brain. I think those are the extremists, that the keto extremists, just as much as there are vegan extremists who tell you you don't need animal protein to get complete nutrition. I don't believe either of them are right. I think there's a happy medium. And so Shakeology, I'm gonna make you proud, Shay, I hope. Shakeology is, if you were to take, a big pile of spinach, which when most people think of nutrition, they think of kale or spinach and how incredibly healthy it is. And it is. However, if I had in my hand a chocolate shake or a big old bushel of spinach, which would I want to eat every single day? And the spinach is only one product, and there's not one perfect food out there. There's not one perfect food. There's something missing in everything, which is why God gave us such a huge variety. And bless Darren and Isabel for creating a product that takes the best of every single thing out there and combines it into one thing. So why wouldn't you nutrition from so many different sources, as opposed to thinking in your head, okay, I'm always going to saute a bunch of spinach in the morning and eat it with my eggs. Spinach is okay, but I can't do it every single day. And even if I did, it's still lacking some nutrition that I know with Shakeology and all the different variety in it, I'm getting it all. And so if you're going to have carbohydrates in your diet, which I don't think are a bad thing, 15% carbohydrates, you're sure as hell going to be Shakeology. I just think it's the smartest carbohydrates you can put in your body.
I will say too, ever since I've had some of my challengers following your 7-day plan in your book, it's funny because my Shakeology retention's up. Not only are they getting results, but they're like, this tastes amazing, because we're mixing it with heavy whipping cream and they're hiding their spinach in it too. And so it's like, my Shakeology retention is through the roof. But I think too, they finally see like how important it is to have that, because you are eliminating some of the probiotics from some of the foods they're eating, and some of the good stuff from having so many grains and veggies and stuff. Somebody asked, what percentages do you recommend for weight loss? And if somebody could mute themselves, it's kind of loud. I don't know where it's coming from, but hope it's not me. I don't see it.
For me, this diet, this specific diet that I've been eating for years has kind of stemmed from when I'm doing the fitness videos, first for Shalene and then for Powder Blue. There would be a time that I would want to just clean up a little bit and, get rid of the inflammation and the bloat. And so I realized that having the egg salad and meat and vegetables just really leaned me out very quickly. And so that's kind of where it adopted. And I realized that it's by just adding a little more calories to it, I can maintain my weight and stay very consistent. I mean, I am grateful that I can, if Beachbody calls me, because sometimes they do that, and they'll be, can you come to California next week and film Payo? I'm always ready because of the way I eat now, but it started off for weight loss. Even if it was short term, it was just to lose 5 or 7 pounds of water retention and inflammation. And so I still think that 50, 35, and 15, for people like us that are active, that get at least 30 minutes of exercise every single day, that's just the magic numbers. Now, in my book, if you guys have seen it, there are people I know that sit in a cubicle all day long, and then they will come home and they will sit and play board games with their kids, and you just can't get them to exercise at that point. Those people I would love to see just drop their carbohydrates even just a little bit more to maybe 10%, or if they're really obese and even walking is a chore for them, I'd really like for them to go to 5%. And how, for me, you replace fat with carbohydrates. So you never up your protein. There's just no need. I wish people would quit thinking that protein is, what creates muscle, and protein is what gives weight loss, and protein is what makes you feel satiated. I mean, it does a little bit, but anything more than 35% is just too much on your kidneys, and it's unnecessary.
You did a post a while back that said, our country and the world is not protein deficient like they all think we are and advertise as we are. We're nutrient deficient. So I really like that post.
Thank you.
So anybody else have any other questions? And we'll let you get off of here. We really appreciate your time with us.
You're welcome. It's gone fast.
Now, those who are in the test group, if you have questions for her, because I know some people are in the test group, some aren't, without dispelling what the meal plan is. If you have some questions, for myself, I have a question with the Shift Shop test group. There's still fruit in it. So even though they advertise as no carbs, there's still fruit. And they don't ever remove that from the plan. So my question would be, because they lower the fat percentages and up the protein for them, so if it's like that, would you recommend sticking to the fruits that they recommend, which are bananas and higher insulin producing stuff, or would you stick to the berries? Now, some people were saying, I'm just going to put all the high fat type foods in the red containers, and I'll stick to the higher fat stuff in the containers, and then I'll stick to the lower carb berries. But my fear is that you're still going to have so much protein, more carbs, and more fat, which is just a disaster waiting to happen. I feel like, but I don't know. And so I was wanting your feedback on that.
If I wasn't asked to be in that test group,
I wonder why.
I don't know. But avocados and olives are fruit. So I don't know if that can be substituted or if that's gross. I don't know where they put the fruit, but if you could have avocados and olives instead as a fruit. But if you are actually going to have real fruit, then yes, absolutely stick with berries. And if you can, blueberries. I mean, blueberries are amazing for you. Especially, frozen blueberries, if you can get frozen ones. I don't know how you would eat those, but that if I were to eat fruit every day, it would be blueberries. I will say too, they do recommend blueberries in the sample meal plan. So that's good. And they have a flank steak as one of the recommended. So lots of lean protein. So would you also up the fattier options? Because of course the list is just like 21 Day Fix. They don't have zero fat Greek yogurt. At least it's 2%. But most of the stuff is good, the same as far as 93% lean ground beef and turkey and stuff like that. Yeah, I honestly, I would love to see the meal plan. I have a lot of my coaches that are in that test group too, and they've talked to me about it, but I've not actually seen it. So I don't know. So they told you it was 40 protein, 30 carb, and 30.
Yeah, they told us in a post that it was 30 carbs, 30 protein. That was what we're towards. And so I went ahead and did the calculations based off, and you guys can know this. I don't think that this is a big deal, but they actually give you for the first time in a program an entire 3 weeks meal plan based off each container or bracket, which is really nice because that's where it's just like the Ultimate Reset. You have a list, then they give you the grocery list. It's easy.
Oh, nice.
So I went ahead and added up. I'm in Plan A, which is 1,200 to 1,500. They also recommend Recover and Energize the first week. Weeks 2 and 3, they recommend Hydrate, Recover, and Energize, which I know a lot of people aren't doing. But without the Recover and just Energize, I put in the calories for what the exact foods that they recommend, and it's about 30, 40 fat. And then it gets a little bit lower carb towards the end, higher protein. But it's about consistent throughout.
Yeah, and I think if you guys take their lean portion or their lean protein recommendations and make it a fattier, but please choose healthy meat. But if you're choosing and getting really healthy meat, then I would choose the fattier portion of that, whether it's the dark meat chicken or that you get a steak that has, a ribeye that has some marbling in it. It's going to organically lower that protein just a little bit and up the fat. And I think that's going to be closer to a 50, 35, 15. That's what I would do if I was invited in this group.
Yeah. Let's see. Plan A is only two teaspoons a day. And it's I'll share it with you. Nobody tell on me. But I'll kind of share with you what it kind of is so that you can get a good idea. It does feel like it is a step in the right direction. And Chris was very open in saying yesterday in a live call in the group, he said, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you. If you're doing something that is helping you, please do that. So It was very much of, I can't say it, but do what you want to do. Do what works for you. Now, I took it on as, and I keep going back and forth, but I am doing the plan to a T, just swapping a few things out. And it was against my better judgment. My gut didn't say to do that, but I was like, okay, I'm just going to try it for a week, and hopefully I can at least give some feedback to them and say, hey, I did this for a week after I've been doing low carb, high fat for 2 months, feeling amazing. Yeah. And this is how I feel. Maybe we should think about moving towards something that's more ideal for people like me. Because I feel like if we all alter the plan that they gave us and we get amazing results, they're going to think, well, this program and this meal plan got them amazing results, and they're not going to change anything.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of using myself as a martyr, I guess, to self-experiment, but also experiment on the behalf of other people to kind of see like what works best.
Yeah.
And share it.
That's smart.
But it sucks.
It's all they can ask for. I mean, they need your honest feedback. Yeah. I mean, and you won't know if this works for you unless you give it an honest try. And then if you go back to the way that's been working for you and give them the honest feedback, I think they will appreciate it. They won't probably openly say it, but I think they would appreciate knowing that.
Right. Somebody had one more question. If trying to eat a low carb, high fat lifestyle, those who are more active teaching back-to-back classes, do you recommend adding total calories and upping fat, or eating a little higher percentage of carbs to make up for the exercise-induced calorie deficit?
Again, talking about me, I used to teach turbo and plyo back-to-back every single morning, completely fasted, still eating the way that I did. I think it just takes time for your body to get used to that. So if you've been having a meal or something to eat before it, or you've had more carbohydrates throughout your day, that's what your body's used to running on. Try to shift that. You are perfectly fine working out harder than most people, or teaching, 2 classes back to back on an empty stomach and getting the majority of your calories from healthy fat is perfectly okay. There's no need to ever be, I think, in my very humble opinion, above 20%. If someone's a triathlete and they're just a rail and they have a hard time keeping weight on, maybe 20% carbohydrates, but never, I don't think there's any need for more than that.
Perfect. Any more questions before we let you go? Let's see. Okay, I don't think we have any.
The babies.
Yeah. But we appreciate you so much. I know that I've sent you a million messages and probably overwhelmed you. I hope your book sales are doing really good though, because I don't even try to explain it myself, because I'm just like, just go to that. It's just not worth me trying to teach that yet. And kind of like you were saying, I want to get more into the nutrition side of things just because I love that and I'm interested in it. But like you said in the beginning, the stuff that you learn through all these certification courses is so different than what I would actually be living and teaching. So for someone who wants more knowledge, what would you suggest them? Are there any certifications that are more open to that?
I don't know, like Precision Nutrition, they're all great. But I still think they lean heavily towards a diet that's higher in protein, or still what's recommended by the government, because some of them are funded by that. So it's tough. I would just do your own research. I wish this all started for me with leptin, which is your satiety hormone. And as a matter of fact, there's a book, one of the little tiny books I've read, in learning about that hormone. And from there, it just blossomed into every single person that was talking about getting your hormones under control, talked about intermittent fasting and a higher fat lifestyle. And so I just went bananas. And I'll send you a picture, Brooke. I took a picture of, I think, 6 or 7 books, my top 6 or 7 books that I recommend for intermittent fasting and a higher fat lifestyle. And Rosa Friesen was talking to me the other day. She wants to write an ebook, and she's like, but I'm not an expert. And I'm like, but you're an expert in you. And that's all that people want to know. She, you know, with PCOS, she's like, this has worked well for me, and I want to write a book that targets or helps people with this. And so I recommend that you guys do that. You don't have to be. If you look at the beginning of my ebook, I've got my disclaimer. It's all you have to do, and you just share what's worked for you. We as coaches know people don't really care too much about the science of things. They just want to know, did it work for you? What did it do for you? And can it help me? And you can answer that question. Here's what it's done for me. I think it'll help you too. Here's some guidelines I want to give you. And make yourself a little ebook. All I did was took my phone and I talked in it. And then I sent all of that to somebody, and he doesn't do it anymore, else I would recommend him, on Upwork. It was Elance at the time. And he made the whole freaking ebook for me. He categorized it. It didn't cost that much. And it's been a good business builder. So take your passion for what's working for you and create yourself a little freemium, a little ebook that you can share with other people, and give them just enough information more. And it's not only to feed passion. I mean, like Brooke said at the very beginning, when you're feeling on top of your game, nutritionally and fitness wise, your business does so much better. I think my business has the biggest boost when I'm on the reset. It's euphoric. That's probably why I'm almost going to be doing it 11 times now. But create yourself a book.
I think what's really awesome, what I've noticed too, and I think some of the coaches in here as well, is that people are sick of seeing the containers. They're sick of hearing about the 21-day fix and intermittent fasting and keto. I don't want to say keto, but the low carb, high fat lifestyle is very on the up right now. And I feel like we're kind of getting ahead of the game. And I've noticed since I've been posting about it, I've had so many more people reaching out to me because 21-day fix didn't work for them, or they couldn't maintain it long term, and they have busy lives. They can't eat 6 meals a day. So I know for me, like you were talking about writing the ebook, just posting about something different than 21-day fix has been a huge business boost for me. I feel like, just because people know me as that, and they're like, oh wait, she's actually recommending something that's not necessarily that. You know, I think that they tend to trust you more too. But I feel like I'm getting a lot more better interaction. And when I tell them, you need Shakeology with this, like there's no doubt about it, you have to have this. It's like, there's no questions. They're just like, okay, I trust you. And I'm just noticing that as I'm going, that some of you guys might be noticing as well.
Yeah, and for me, and I'm not talking about 21-day fix, but I'm just talking about a competitor's diet, which is, you can get free competitors' diets on Google all day long. And their diets are very low fat and very calorie restrictive. And it's what The Biggest Loser does. You know, their competitor diets essentially starve your body of so much. I mean, even salt and water towards the end. Competitors' diets are so unhealthy, and they wreck your metabolism. But because people see the aftermath or what they think, look at this nutrition plan and look what this person looks like, it's because of this amazing nutrition plan. But those people, it's a short window in their life that they look like that. And normally, if you've ever done any research or studies to see what they look like before they start that meal plan and then briefly after, it's completely different, because it's a very hard lifestyle to live. And I think that even if you're doing a competitor's diet, you have short-term results, it's impossible. It's impossible to have boiled chicken and steamed broccoli every day for the rest of your life, and plain oatmeal and egg whites. It's no way to live. And not only that, but it wreaks havoc on your body.
Okay, one more question and we're done. Stacy asks, do you personally use Recover, or what supplements do you recommend with the low carb, high fat, low carb lifestyle?
You know what? I'm a hard worker. I just dawned on me. I actually created, and I will send it to Brooke to put in your group. I created a meal plan that includes every single, because when the performance line came out, I created a meal plan that incorporates every single supplement from the performance line. And it's still within the macros that I recommend. I will send that to you. So it's possible. I just choose not to do it. I don't work out hard enough to need hydrate. I don't think I work out hard enough to need recover. Or what's the other one? Recharge. I don't. I work out. I like T25. I like 25 minutes of exercise. Josh and I did max 30 and pump today, and that was a lot for me. I just don't work out hard enough to think I need these performance supplements. If you are an athlete or you're going through insanity or something that's, 45 minutes to an hour of nonstop kill yourself, you might want the hydrate and all of that stuff. I don't need it, so I don't use it. I use the Energize. I can't live without Energize. I drink Shakeology every freaking day. And I do the reset about every 6 months. And that's as far as supplements go for me with Beachbody. I make Shakeology balls, Shakeology fat bombs, but that's it. So I'll send you that. So if you guys are interested in, and I think it's a great business builder as well for if you have athletes out there that need supplements but want to try a higher fat diet, I got one for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So no supplements outside of Beachbody, like collagen, collagen and stuff like that.
Yeah, I take biotin for this and my nails and my lashes, because I put on fake lashes, so they recommended I take that to keep my lashes healthy. I take magnesium, not on a regular basis, but so you guys know, magnesium is good for if you get a little blocked. Magnesium helps keep things moving. And I take vitamin D. As much as I love the sun, and I try to get in it, I just think that everybody would benefit from a little bit more vitamin D. Oh, and I did take a vitamin B injection like a week ago. Random. I've never done it before. And I don't feel any different, but someone recommended I try it. And so of course I'm going to try it. And I don't know if it was worth it. So magnesium, biotin, and vitamin D.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We're going to let you go and tell Josh I said hi. We appreciate it so much. And then I'll send you the recording in case you want it. But then we'll post it into our little private group, the closet. It sounds really cool. It's like people are coming up to me in Punta Cana, they're like, "Hey, I'm in the closet," and I'm like, "Oh, hi." I'm funny to be saying that we're in the closet. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us, and thank you, Melissa. We love you. We appreciate you.
Anytime.
Okay, bye, guys.